Intro music.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
They have acquired Eric Johnson and Fernando Tatis Jr. from the White Sox in exchange for James Shield.
Welcome to Slam Diego!
My name is Joey.
My name is James.
And this is the Brothers Padre.
And in this second to the last episode of the regular season, we're going to recap the
What are we going to recap, James?
the last three Dodger series. It's been I hate losing to Dodgers, Joe.
No, I don't like losing. And I don't like losing in life, James. This is not like a Tony Robbins bit. I don't like losing in life, and I especially don't like when my sports teams lose. Especially when I run a podcast about it.
Yeah. Yes. Every day the decision to do a podcast about the Padres comes by more stupid idea. We could have done a podcast about butterflies.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about butterflies, really.
Yeah. They don't compete with... I don't know. Do they compete with each other?
I don't know.
Are there like monarch butterfly fans that get mad at other butterfly fans? I only know one butterfly type.
I know the monarch butterfly and I know the blue morpho. You want to know why I know both those?
Why do you know about the blue morpho?
Because they're both characters from the Venture Brothers cartoon show.
Well, who says cartoons can't teach people anything?
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're gonna just talk a little bit about Dodgers series. James, not good. The Padres previously got swept by the Giants, and no, they didn't get swept by the Giants. They took 1 out of 4 from the Braves.
Yes.
That's right.
Technically, we were swept by the
I'm
Braves.
expecting this weekend's results already.
Technically, we were swept by the Braves because the game we won was a continuation from a game 2 months ago.
That's true. On paper, we got swept by the Braves.
Yeah.
So, James, I'm going to go over the scores, the past 3 games, and we're going to talk about those 3 games because it's sad. Tuesday, September 28th, the Dodgers. You know what they call the Dodgers, James?
Because they all dodged the draft.
No.
Oh.
But it is something silly like that. They were trolley Dodgers, people that would not get hit by the trolley. Because it used to be a thing in Brooklyn, because with the Brooklyn Dodgers, and to dodge the trolley, you were a Dodger. Isn't that a fun little tidbit?
So their name is basically means idiot.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be like calling the jaywalkers or something like that.
Yeah. Idiots.
Yeah, well, the idiots beat us 2-1 on Tuesday, September 28th. On the back of a decent Yu Darvish start, but it didn't matter because Padres can hit anything. We just couldn't hit.
Yeah. It was actually a promising final start for Yu Darvish. It was a pretty good start.
The one run the Padres had was Jake Cronenworth homer off Blake Treinen. It's a nice hit.
Nice home run, yes.
And that made us below 500. And that was sad. Not to worry, James, because it's not a fluke. The next game, the Dodgers beat us 11-9. And we're going to talk a little bit about this game after I recap these series.
Yes.
This game was started by Max Scherzer, and the Padres did what we've done a few times against Max Scherzer this year, and shell him, just absolutely rack up runs against him. Because Max Scherzer has 2 results against the Padres: either he has the worst start of his season, or he almost throws a perfect game. No in between. There literally is no in between.
There's no in between.
So, sorry, Max. Let me see here. The Padres down 4-0 in the start of this game. Max Scherzer, but on a shaky Ryan Weathers start, and but we came back, and we're 9-6 in the 8th inning, and Emilio Pagan came in and gave up 4 earned runs, And the fifth earned run was given up by Nabil Quizman on a 2-run homer by Corey Seager, giving back the lead to the Dodgers to beat us 11-9. And like I said, we'll talk about that game a little bit more, but I'm finished with the recap. I'm sad because the third game happened, and this game secures our spot. It's 3 games under 500 with a 78 and 81 record. The Dodgers beat us 8-3 to complete the sweep. The Dodgers have beat us the last 9 times we faced each other. This game was not as close as the last game or the game before. The Padres bullpen is tired and just can't. And we have a starter that was failed who started the game. And the Dodgers.
Old Vinny Velasquez.
And the Dodgers this would be the Dodgers' 103rd win. Yeah, so we got swept, James. Beat us 8-3 in the final game. That would make us 6 straight losses, James.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. And the worst part is our offense is legitimately doing very well right now.
This game, for example, Tatis Jr. hit a ball, I don't know, to the moon.
It left the stadium. He left the ballpark. It's the 5th longest home run hit in that ballpark.
Yeah.
463 feet, I believe.
67 feet. Which I don't think is true because, like, whatever. There's like a pre-StatCast era, like, balls are like, oh, Willie Stargell had this 508 feet. I'm like, yeah, but, you know, color TV wasn't invented, so how, like...
how do they literally measure with rulers?
Yeah. We think it landed here. Willie Stargell, like, gives them a 20, like, bump it back 20 feet.
Exactly.
Yeah, the hit... I mean, this game against Scherzer, we are hitting well.
Walker Buehler's going to win the Cy Young. He shut us out the first game. The big problem was game number 2. We had the lead. We had a 4-run lead in the 7th. And our bullpen fell apart. And Daniel Hudson came out, gave up a solo shot. And then I don't know... do the Padres, do they just forget about, do the managers just forget, once the game ends, they just forget what happens? Because they brought in Pagan again in the 8th inning. Pagan hasn't pitched well in a month and a half.
Yeah.
And he gave up 3 solo home runs.
And a double.
And
the fly out, I mean, every single thing he allowed, like even the out was like up over 100 mile an hour exit velocity.
Yeah, he was throwing batting practice. And he's been doing that for a month, and I don't understand. Like, I was, you and I were watching, I was texting you, I was watching that they're bringing in Pagan. And you texted me, I'm not going to watch because you can't watch another flip over. And it was so heartbreaking, and I have to ask, anybody else in our bullpen could have done a better job.
Yeah.
Jake Cronenworth could have done a better job. Bring in Cronenworth. He struck out Mookie Betts before. He could face Mookie Betts and strike him out. I think that would have been a better option. That's the first time all year people have been questioning a lot of Jace Tingler's decisions. First time all year, I think, yeah, maybe Jace Tingler shouldn't be a major league manager because that is the worst decision I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know it's hard to remember what time I've ragged on a decision for Emilio Pagan coming in. Was it against the Giants 2 weeks ago? No, it was against the Cardinals, of course, against the Cardinals. That Cardinal series, right? Cardinals come in and Tyler O'Neill's up and, bring in Emilio Pagan. We're down by 1 run. We might win a game in St. Louis, which would have been very important for our playoff hopes and aspirations. And what happens is Emilio Pagan at that point, I think had a 14 ERA the last 7 games. And you're like, what? I think over I can't remember what it was. He's now giving up 9 home runs over the last 8 innings. Like, that's not a guy. This is not. He didn't suddenly become bad. He's just bad right now.
Yes.
And everyone can see it.
Except for Jace Tingler and our managers. For somehow they still think he's our 8th inning guy. And in the beginning of the season, we were joking he had his pagan ways and he could a perfect 8th inning, and just he hasn't. He's just sucked for a month, and it really, I don't understand why I cannot understand it at all. It's really it's so overly frustrating. You don't if you're. It's all the metaphors. There's nothing that can adequately explain how frustrated I am that they brought him in the 8th again. We could have won at least one from the Dodgers, and if we would have beaten the Dodgers, the Giants probably would have clinched the division.
This is all about us helping the Giants out.
Yes.
Oh no, that's not right. Us screwing over the Dodgers.
Exactly.
It's about making the Dodgers' lives harder.
Yes.
And I can respect that. I texted you. I don't know which one of these games. I texted you. I hate when. James, you and I have watched many Padres seasons. Many.
Yes.
There is always that time in the season when you're not competitive, you're out of the playoff race, and things are like spring training games. You're like, oh, it's the 5th inning. I guess Jake Marisnick's fielding, I guess. You're like, I guess for no injury-related reason, just I want him to get reps in. And you're like, it's a horrible feeling. And especially horrible because this team shouldn't be this way. This should not be playing spring training-like games in late September, early October. So, that just stunk. And then part of me was like, well, maybe it's just Jace Tingler. Like, well, we're going to lose anyway, so might as well just try to get Pagan to be good. Like, give him reps to figure it out.
Yeah, they could have brought him in the 6th inning to do that, and it wouldn't have felt more. If he would have given up 4 runs in the 6th, at that point we hadn't taken the lead. It wouldn't have felt as bad because,
right.
But we had hope. He every time Emilio Pagan has come in, it seems like we're always winning. He comes in and we're no longer winning.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just so numb to it. You were very frustrated. I was like, this is exactly the Pagan we expected, right? Not expected, but just like who he's become. It's just been rough. It's been rough to watch, and yeah, but if Tingler wanted to win that game, if that was his best option, his best decision, that's not his best decision.
No, it's not even. No.
Bring Melanson in for a 2-inning save. Like, do something.
Yeah. Bring in a starter.
Yeah.
Jake Cronenworth. Have him throw. There was, if you were just gonna literally roll the dice, and the dice that have not even a 50-50 chance or
right.
1 out of 6 chance, you have a 1 out of 100 chance it's going to be a good outing by Pagan at this point. You can roll the dice with anybody. Fernando Tatis can throw 100 miles off the mound.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be accurate, but just
right.
There's so much frustration in that decision, and that leads to our second topic today, Joseph.
So today, The Athletic dropped this morning an article between Dennis Lin, Ken Rosenthal, and Eno Saris, all people that are relatively familiar with the baseball landscape and in working the Padres. Eno Saris is like really, really tied to like talent evaluators and the talent side of baseball.
Basically, it was Ken Rosenthal.
So yeah,
is probably one of the best baseball writers in baseball.
Right. Yeah.
Dennis Lin is a great beat writer, and he primarily
for the Padres.
For the Padres, he covers the Padres, and I can never say the last name.
Eno Saris.
Yeah. Is a great talent guy and works behind the scenes a lot of
and big analytics nerd kind of guy. Yeah.
And these guys have been working on this article. I saw somebody talking about it for about 2 weeks now, and they dropped it. and they threw a lot of bombshells. A lot of that we've already speculated and predicted. It's just weird to see them confirmed. And Padre Twitter is up in arms. To say
Ready to kill somebody. Pitchforks are out.
Let me see if I can summarize it for you, Joe.
Okay, I'm ready.
I know you read it and you actually sent me the article. So,
Yeah. Go ahead.
because you subscribe to The Athletic.
I do.
I do not.
I do.
Basically, AJ Preller is a control freak. He controls every little aspect of the Padres organization.
Down to like spring training drills.
Yeah. People are afraid to speak their minds around him. And they think now has seen the error of his ways and is firing a bunch of people and rehiring a bunch of other people that are not afraid to speak up to him. From what I understand, from what the article was implying.
Right.
Jace Tingler, rookie manager, makes rookie manager mistakes and might not have a job at the end of the by Thanksgiving.
Yeah, largely the article is made up of like sources of like former employees and anonymous employees
And players.
And that always you have to keep in mind from a player perspective. There are certain type of players that speak up anonymously to the media. Not every player does this, just some players. And I know Padres Twitter likes to assume that Eric Hosmer is a squeaky wheel. We don't know that. It would seem like it is, though, but you don't know that. I think it's never like this is not it's not necessarily the complete picture, right? Because you could former employees are like most jobs. Former employees don't speak highly of the former job.
No, not at all. And having been a manager in many different places, you can never trust former employees. Former employee egged my car once.
Right. I mean, you just can't. Now, there is something close to the truth there, obviously.
Yeah.
Some of the things that were proposed as solutions were also pretty funny because they were all proposed by rival executives. And one of rival executives like, you need to trade Machado for like an Arenado-like deal.
Basically, trade Machado away for about 7 prospects. Now, the problem with that's probably the craziest thing of the article suggesting.
Yeah.
The 2 big problems with trading Machado. One is, what team has 7 prospects that are also willing to take up a $300 million contract?
Right.
There is none.
Right.
Maybe the Yankees, but DJ LeMahieu was doing a good job for them at third base. Don't get me wrong, they'd probably like Machado, but the Yankees don't have 7 top prospects.
Right.
The only teams that have 7 top prospects would be teams like, the Pirates or the Mariners. Or the Marlins. They're not going to trade all of them for a contract that's a third of their payroll.
It also it's just such like a trolly thing for an executive to say.
Exactly.
Now, that's why this article is like, there's a bit of it where like the writers put this in like, this is crazy. Of course they're going to put it in there because it's a rival executive trying to stir the pot.
Trying to stir the pot and probably was upset that they signed Machado because they probably thought they didn't need to.
Machado. And also like if there's one thing about the current ownership is that they will hold on to players length of a term of their contract. And Machado has a positive WAR as opposed to 2 other players that we have on our long-term payroll.
Yes.
And so you think about that way and you're like, well, an insane assumption to assume we're going to trade Machado. And then the idea of like people saying they got to start it, like blow it all up. Like that doesn't make any sense because there are issues with the organization. We've talked about, there's some funkiness, but you can't tell me this team isn't talent. Like this is not a time to like lose hope for it.
No.
There's a time now where like you better learn from this because this is bad. But you have an incredible set of talent to work with. Right?
Yeah, again, there's no team in baseball that wouldn't take half of our staff.
Yeah.
There's nobody that there's no way that you can't say a team that has Machado, Tatis, Cronenworth, Grisham, Snell, Darvish, and Musgrove on it, and Melanson. Wouldn't say, well, I mean, and even Adam Frazier. There's so much talent on this team that there's no reason people wouldn't want them, and it wouldn't be able to do something with them. Even teams would want Ha-Seong Kim and Profar.
Oh yeah.
Our backup players are valuable to other teams. It blows my mind that it's, again, there's something wrong. There's something not seeking in. There's something not working. I've been saying it for a long time. I think it's analytics.
You see in that bit in the article, they said they use analytics, but they use it as a confirmation bias thing. So they use it to make sure that it confirms what their teaching is. That's what one former employee said. So instead of analytics informing you like, hey, you're not doing X, Y, Z right, so maybe let's figure out how you do it right. From like a coaching perspective, it's like, see analytics, that's why I'm right. And I think maybe a subtle difference, but it's a big enough difference that, I mean, look, the Giants are no ego about the analytics. The analytics says you're crappy, right? And the coach is like, hey, you're bad. Let's try to figure out how to get you better. And whereas the Padres, if the quote is to be true, real, and what it is, what the assumption is made with that is that basically the Padres coaches are saying, I believe to be a good player you have to hit these metrics, and then said result, and you can't, and that's not a good way to teach either. That's exactly right. You're not being honest with the problem. And they brought up Ryan Weathers. Like, why is Ryan Weathers? Why is his pitch mix remain the same throughout the year? He's not implementing a new sinker. He's not doing the kind of stuff that would need to happen for someone to be great.
Yeah, and the article brought up Kyle Quantrill, who left the Padres organization. He's developed 2 new pitches, and is actually a pretty decent pitcher.
Yeah.
And he has nowhere near the talent Ryan Weathers has. And Ryan Weathers needs to, again, his pitch mix seems to be the same every batter, and again, there's something wrong. We're not keeping up with things, I've been saying, I think fundamentally all the supporting staff needs to be shaken up and turned around, and a new ideology moved in. The players are good. We have good players.
Yeah.
With the exception of maybe 1 or 2, but there's teams that have 1 or 2 bad players. I mean, the Dodgers have Cody Bellinger that seems to be swinging like a 5th grader.
Yeah.
But he's still reading analytics, and he got a couple of hits off us. And he has a 168 batting average. And in 2 more bad years like this, he won't be a baseball player anymore.
Right.
You can't have that kind of a bat in a baseball team. But since he's in such a good offensive team, they're giving him a chance to turn it around because he's still a Gold Glove outfielder.
Yeah. That's kind of what, like, it's obvious that there isn't some. Well, it's obvious that whatever philosophy is working right now from our organization did no favors. And I think the stunning indictment is, and I believe this, I don't think we're going to finish over 500 because we have to.
There's no way.
We have to sweep the Giants to do this, and that's insanity. And tonight, Pedro. How come I can't say that word? How can I say Pedro? Thank you. It's like, how do you say that?
The easiest Spanish name to say?
Pedro.
We talk about the Padres. Pedro.
I struggle with that so much. Pedro Avila is starting for us tonight. If you just like, wait, who's he? I don't remember him. Yeah, because he last pitched for us in 2019. He's a minor leaguer. He's a 4+ ERA in minor leagues. He's just facing the best team in baseball. I'm sure he'll figure something out.
Yeah. So if you're going to watch the game tonight, ladies and gentlemen, do like I'm going to do it. mute it and clean something.
Or wait for Tatis to come up to bat.
Exactly.
Hopefully, because I think maybe we'll end with some MVP talk. How about that?
Yeah.
But there's no way that we're going to finish at 500. Right?
No.
We can't be above it. So now, Preller is going to have, for this year, 6 years as a GM. He's fielded one winning team in a shortened season.
And he's now fielded 2 epic collapse teams.
2015 had a good first half collapse. 2019 was actually 500 at the All-Star break collapse. This year, we were predicted with a 70% plus percentile to be in the playoffs. Collapse.
And that's what I'm saying about there's something wrong with the clubhouse because, and it could also be management because both 2019 and now were 2 rookie managers.
Yeah, I mean,
and it just, and 2015, who that was Bud Black,
yeah.
and again, it's hard to.
I mean, 2015 was a tough. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
And if you look at how the Rockies are playing with a team that has nobody, they can still string together competitive.
Yeah.
I would rather have Bud Black back.
Yeah,
And Bud Black is a decent manager.
I think that if I'm ownership, if I'm Peter Seidler, I don't know, man. There's a good chance. Like if I'm as rich as Peter Seidler is, I look at what the Giants did in less than 2 years and be pretty mad about it.
Yeah.
The Giants just hired one guy from the Dodgers, Farhan Zaidi. And all Farhan does is he maximizes people's success by putting them in positions to succeed and develops people at the major leagues. They didn't name one free agent signing, big free agent signing the Giants done in the past 2 years.
They haven't. Gosman.
But he was a qualifying offer.
Yeah.
I'm not saying 18.9 million.
You're talking. You're talking.
There's no
about
$200 million, $300 million deal.
Yeah.
There's none of that. So if I'm Peter Seidler, I'm like, how the heck did this guy with an aging staff? Remember, Evan Longoria, Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt weren't especially great last year.
No.
And Buster Posey people were speculating, he's done for the rest of his career. All 4 of those people have an OPS over 900.
Yeah, they're all having the best year of their lives.
And they just say, hey, we all bought in to being the best possible version by listening to coaches. And then you see the Padres being like, hey, Preller, why not one of these years you try that? You put yourself in a position so that we have that. Because you have 6 years of building the best minor leagues in baseball, and now you don't have that anymore. So now we're a sub 500 team with the 17th ranked minor league system. We have 2 contracts, Hosmer and Myers, with varying levels of production of either one of those. And you have a legacy of mid-season collapses and full seasons.
Yeah.
Preller can get
good.
talent. Preller has it almost feels like he needs a real GM underneath him, like a major league developable GM underneath him, because he can get the talent, he can produce the talent, but he just can't make the talent major league ready and to modern major leagues.
I know he really is for that's right. It's been so evident this year that the Padres are stuck in some old school development, and everybody else is so advanced. All you have to do is look at how they're hitting, how they're pitching at Myers.
Yep.
And how and Myers looking terrible at the plate because every at bat is the same type of pitch mix. He keeps striking out, and he keeps chasing pitches. Same thing with Tatis Jr. They pitch him high and in and low and away, and he keeps swinging at sliders off the plate, low and away. He's managed to adapt out of it. I'm starting to think that was less of a coaching decision to show him how to adapt out of it, more of him doing it, because none of the coaches seem to be trying to get anybody else to adapt out of it. And the thing is, like, even Will Myers has made strides the last couple of years. He changed his batting stance. He was hit in 2020. He had a great year.
Yep.
And he had a great first season, but then first half of the season, and all of a sudden they started pitching him differently, and he couldn't adapt to it.
This idea that Preller might espouse, which is that if you just put a bunch of talented people in a room, good things will happen. It's like that's a fair statement, but when there's a certain point where too many people, too many egos are mixed together, you can't expect good results from that, right? Because Tatis Jr. would be successful at any organization.
Exactly.
Manny Machado would be successful at any organization. They have pedigrees that just, and an ethic and an ability to themselves learn and be better.
Yes.
But that's not necessarily true of a lot of people, right? Sometimes you need coaching, and it's obvious we don't have that. We don't have the ability to develop people mid-season and to adapt mid-season. And that's killing us. It's killed us this year, and I think what's also to be considered is Craig Stammen had an interview yesterday. Did I send you this? I must.
Yes.
He said it's players can't blame coaches on us. Like we're the ones who played the game.
Exactly, and they're also the ones that they know about analytics. They can also look it up themselves.
And so I think a lot of people are like, oh, the players have given up. They're whiny. They don't care. And to me, that doesn't sound like that could be true, but also can be true that like no organization should allow that to happen. It's on you to hire people that can rally the troops. So and if you're telling me no one can, and Tingler came out and said I should have been more aggressive earlier this season.
Yeah.
And, and that tells me that, he has lost the clubhouse a little bit. He has lost the ability to respond and be good, and also it's all up to the players to be selfless. Like it's not, frustrations are real, and it's also Hosmer, if he really is a veteran leader, shouldn't be whining a bunch. And I don't know if he is. And I don't think there's no reason to believe that he's the one leaking or whining to the press. But you have to be selfless in these situations with the help of a good organizational leader.
The thing is with Hosmer, if he really is the clubhouse manager that everyone says he is, like the guy that builds is the clubhouse glue, all the young players like him.
Right.
I'm reminded of Andrew Zimmerman.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
From
Washington
Nationals. Great player in his youth, phenomenal first baseman, great offensive force. Now not so much.
Right.
But the Washington Nationals have loved him since he was a rookie and has kept him forever.
He's Mr. National. He was
He's
literally
Mr.
the first number one draft of a national franchise.
Yes, he will be retired. They'll have a statue, everything. But he has taken a back seat as basically the second manager.
Yeah.
He's on the bench. He's there if they need him, and he helps out. If Eric Hosmer wants to have that role, he can have that role, but he also needs to produce and understand that that's his role. He can't play first base every game.
Dude.
He just can't.
That Ha-Sung Kim play, I want it.
Oh, I know.
Ha-Sung Kim, who is the best defensive infielder in baseball, and I'm just going to say it. Anyone that played Gold Glove at 3 positions in infield, you're the best. Regardless. He was playing shortstop at the time. Tatis was in center field this game. Corey Seager hits a ground ball straight up the middle. They're playing him away a little bit, and so Ha-Sung ranges across, grabs the ball, catches it with his lefty, and he twirls around perfectly and throws the ball to Hosmer. Hosmer tries to scoop it, and it just bounces out of his glove.
Yeah. It would have been one of the best plays of the year. Clearly one of the best shortstop plays
Yeah.
of the year. Yeah. Like,
And that's a
imagine we've all seen that one good defensive play Jeter made in the playoffs because they show it every time. Talk about the one good play he ever did defensively. Outshines that by 100.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal because it's also a faster runner that he was getting out.
Yeah. It's just he doesn't produce. I mean, the past 2 weeks he's been doing fine, I guess. But I mean, most of the year, I mean, he has a high batting average, but no, like, not great slugging percentage. Doesn't have a lot of RBIs. A low weighted runs created plus, meaning he gets hits when no one's on base.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. Cool. Like, Adam Frazier slugs better than him.
Adam Frazier's a better baseball player. Yeah. He's a foot shorter than Eric Hosmer. He's a better baseball player. It's really frustrating. And these are all things that have to be fixed and have to be addressed during the offseason.
Yeah.
I think ownership, there's going to be a lot of heads that are going to roll and a lot of changes being made. Probably not to the staff, to the team. We might have one or two trades during the offseason, but I think if the Padres are serious, they'll do a lot of management changing.
That's why, I mean, I don't know. Part of me thinks if you're the owner of the Padres, you might just fire Preller.
Yeah, or have him move to a different position. Have him just in charge of scouting and development.
I don't.
And helping with trades. Like, they can split his duties up and have somebody just in charge of Major League talent. Because he doesn't seem, and the people under him in charge of Major League talent and statistics and analytics are not doing a good job. They just aren't. And training and all of that. And yes, we had a lot of injuries and you can't really predict that, but it's just really weird to see. And next year, there's going to be so much pressure on next year because Clevenger's coming back and it's his contract year. So's Musgrove's. Mm-hmm. So these guys potentially could be pitching their butts off to get bigger contracts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you think this season felt bad, dude, if it's September and we're recording the same kind of episode next year, I'm not going to be happy.
No.
And, like,
we will sign off, and thank you, late loyal fans. This is the last episode of the Brothers Padre.
Man, you have no... I mean, this next year is it. Man, I don't know, man. It's... There is a slight chance that Preller gets fired, I think. It'd be crazy, too, because there's so many moving parts, but...
Yeah.
He's not...
I don't think there's a chance of being fired. I think there's a chance of being moved around. There's a chance of him getting some sort of moved to a different position or help an assistant like the Dodgers have they have 3 different positions on the upper levels, something like that. And I also think I think legitimately we might see a new manager and Jace move to something like player development. Because that's what he did in the minor leagues.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it in our season recap episode, like what's the manager situation going to be like? Because I think it's probably Carey's case, but I don't know, man. 6 years, man, not one winning season. We had the best minor league system in baseball, and now we don't. So you went from 1 to 3. You empty the tank for this year. We're now 17th, and we're now going to end up below 500.
Yeah.
An abject failure. And if I hired someone and paid them millions of dollars over 6 years, and the best they can give me is, what, Slam Diego?
And we haven't had that many Grand Slams this year. I think we've only hit 2 more this year than we did last year, and last year was a short season.
Yeah, And I think on ownership, it's tough too because they're raising ticket prices next year, and you're just like, what for? Why are you?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a depressing episode.
Well, most sports podcasts, when their team loses 6 in a row, are usually pretty cheery. So it's very abnormal.
Oh yeah, very, very. So what are your high hopes for the last 3 games of the season, Joseph?
I want Tatis to hit at least 2 more home runs.
Me too.
I want him. He's already second all time in single season records for Padres for single season. So he has 42 home runs right now. I want him to clear 100 RBIs and hit 2 more home runs. And be the shoe-in for the MVP. I think there's a really good case for him already, especially now that the top 3 candidates are all from not playoff teams.
Yeah, they all have collapses.
Yeah.
That is the biggest advantage. And
home runs matter so much to MVP votes. I know it's stupid, but it really does.
I think the biggest thing that will win, that it gives him the shoe-in, is he's missed 30 games this year.
Right, and he's that good, yeah.
And he's better than all the other guys stat-wise. That right there, I think, will give him the advantage.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Soto, Harper, and Tatis are all having great years. There's no, like... Not gonna, there isn't like... Yeah, I think that homers matter. Unless Harper and Soto have like bananas weekends, like 3 or 4 home runs this weekend. Or something.
It doesn't matter if they have 3 or 4 home runs. If somehow they can get 3 or 4 home runs and miraculously get their team in the playoff, they can't get past Tatis's home run numbers and all of his other numbers. None of them have 25 stolen bases either.
Right. I would love him just to go balls to walls crazy.
Yeah,
and
me
just
too.
Be like, here, go whatever, like have some fun.
Hit 6 in the bay.
Right, that'd be cool. Like I think that'd be fun just to see, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Also I would love. Hey Jace, your time is ticking. Let's have Jake Cronenworth play all 9 positions.
That would be fun. I also really, really would like 1 win. I don't want to end the season with a 9-game
losing streak. I don't think. Let's look at the predicted pitchers. Avila, Pedro Avila, Musgrove, and your boy TBD, who I hear is doing very good.
Good old TBD. Went to high school with TBD.
Hit a homer off TBD.
Yeah.
Musgrove's our best chance.
Musgrove is our best chance. I think.
I think losing tonight.
Definitely.
Losing tonight, and then the Giants party too much, right?
Because they clinched the playoffs.
Right. They now, the Dodgers have to lose also tonight, right?
They're playing the Brewers.
And Eric Lauer
hates the Dodgers.
So it looks like it's in the cards, right? It looks like the Padres are going to lose tonight. And then tomorrow they drank a little too many fruit juices. Aged fruit juice. And the little, as the kids say, hungover. And then the Padres just like win. And it's a nice afternoon, 1 p.m. Saturday win in the Bay. And Tatis hits 4 home runs.
That'd be awesome.
And you know what? The Giants like, it's fine. And then Sunday, they're going to like lose again because TBD, but at least we will not have gone.
I just want to win 1 game. I don't want to end the highlight of the base, the apex, the high water mark. The best moment of the year was when we had that 9-game winning streak.
Well, we're going to go over some of the best moments.
I know, and I don't want to end on a 9-game losing streak. That's all.
This is what I want. And I'm going back to Jake Cronenworth. I want him to have a season where he struck out an MVP, hit for the cycle, and he's played all 9 positions. That's what I want. I want it for Jake.
Do it for Jake. Yeah.
James, why did we do this podcast? Because we like the Padres.
We do like the Padres. And still, after all of this, I can't imagine rooting for a different team.
No, I know. I want to feel. You know the Javert meme, from Les Miserables. I can pronounce that apparently. I can't pronounce Pedro. There's that meme of Russell
your
Crowe.
generation was the vote for Pedro generation. I understand you, Joseph.
Yeah. We're not that much. We're not that much older than me. Whatever. Anyways, Russell Crowe plays Javier. Les Miserables.
Yeah.
So he does that meme where he's looking through the window. That's like me looking at winning teams. Like, one day I want to feel it. I want to feel what it's like to have 30 plus years of emotional investment paid off.
Yeah. I have more than one of those dugout mugs, and I want to just toast them to a victory.
James, we're going to still talk about it. We love the Padres.
We do. The Padres are a Labrador Retriever.
We'll have
not the best dog, not the smartest, but the most adorable and lovable.
We'll have the final episode of the season, and we're going to do a little something fun. I think we're going to do a little bit some playoff episodes because you and I like baseball, and we'll talk about the playoffs. And so we'll have an end of the year episode after the end of this year, after Sunday's game. We'll go through maybe we'll have some lists created. Maybe go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
And then have some fun. We have some fun off-season content, James.
We have a lot of fun off-season content for you.
I regret one of the decisions that I suggested that we're both going with, and that's what we call it's a tease. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Twitter @BrothersPadre. Thank you so much for following us. Thank you for your continued listenership. Until next time, go Padres.
Go Padres.
And there it is. Ho-ho, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby.